Good afternoon, dear learners. I welcome you to the secondary course. Today we are going to talk about basics of spreadsheets. So firstly I'll tell you what is a spreadsheet and how it is useful. Spreadsheet is one of the very useful application software for handling numerical data and short text strings. The data is arranged in a grid of rows and columns which can be manipulated, analyzed and displayed in various formats including tables and charts. This helps us to make more informed decisions. We are able to track the changes in data, write formulas to perform calculations on that data, and even build models for analyzing that data. Now you must be wondering that where do we find these spreadsheets? Now various spreadsheet software which are available in the market are Lotus 123, MS Excel and OpenOffice CALC. You know that spreadsheet is a very useful application, especially in offices where numerical data has to be stored, manipulated and analyzed at regular intervals. Each page of a spreadsheet is known as a worksheet and a collection of worksheets constitute a workbook. Now let us discuss about some of the very common applications of worksheets. Now these worksheets act like a calculator for doing automatic calculations. They are used to calculate, analyze, store and present the information. In a spreadsheet, if one value is changed, all the corresponding calculations will be recalculated. So these are very useful in a what if analysis. Suppose you are given a data, and that data is using some constant. You want to see how your data changes when you change the constant. Suppose initially the constant value is 10, then the data is giving some output. Now you want to see what happens to the data if you increase or decrease that constant. Then in such kind of scenario, spreadsheets are very useful. So that is why it is said that they are very useful in what if analysis. Spreadsheets are also very useful to manage financial data like stock exchange movements, account transactions, etc. The data in a spreadsheet can be pictorially represented through charts. Now various inbuilt functions help in easy processing and manipulation of data. There are a number of types of charts available in spreadsheets. So it is very useful when you have to represent your data through pictures, through graphs, through bar graphs, bar charts, pie charts, and number of options are available in spreadsheets. So it is also very useful where you want to represent your data through pictures. Now how do we reach to Excel? How do we start OpenOffice CALC? To start OpenOffice CALC, follow the steps. Select Start, then from Start you have to go to All Programs. From All Programs you have to go to OpenOffice 4.1.1. Now select OpenOffice CALC option. The CALC application window is displayed, which you can also see on the screen. This kind of window opens up when you open the CALC application. Now let us discuss about some of the major components of the CALC application window which you see on the screen. The first is title bar. It is located on the top of the application window. It displays the name of the workbook and the name of the application. The window control buttons, which are minimize, maximize or restore and close, are present on the extreme right of the title bar. The second component is menu bar. Below the title bar is the menu bar, which contains various menu items: file, edit, view, insert, format, tools, data, window and help. The menu bar gives access to basic commands used in CALC. So this was all about the menu bar. Next toolbar is standard toolbar, which is found below the menu bar. Now below the menu bar is the standard toolbar, which contains buttons for frequently used commands such as new, open, save, print, cut, copy, paste, etc. This toolbar is also known as the function toolbar. Now next component comes formatting toolbar. This toolbar consists of commands that help in formatting text and number data like font style, size, color, bold, italic, underline, various number formats, etc. So these are the different components of the formatting toolbar. Next very important component is a formula toolbar. This toolbar contains the name box and the formula bar. Now I'll tell you what is the name box and what is a formula bar. The name box, it displays the name of the selected cell or range of cells. For example, whenever you see the CALC window, you will find there is one active cell in the screen which you previously saw. The cell was A2. So A2 was highlighted, the borders of A2 were bold. So that is the active cell and that is the name box. Next component is formula bar. The formula bar contains the content of the selected cell or the formula applied on the selected cell. If there is some formula which is being applied, it will contain the formula, or else it will contain the content as it is. It is also used for editing the cell content or the formulas in the active cell. Now another components of the application window are rows and columns. The entire worksheet is divided into horizontal rows and vertical columns. The rows are numbered on the left side of the worksheet as 1, 2, 3 and so on, and the columns are named on the top of the application window as A, B, C and so on. The next component comes cells. The rows and the columns in a spreadsheet intersect to form the smallest unit of a worksheet, that is a cell. Each cell has a unique address, which is the combination of the row number and the column name. For example, the cell D10 will be formed by the intersection of row number 10 and column number D. So this was all about cells. Now active cell. Active cell is the cell that is currently active or selected. The active cell has a thick black outline. Data is always entered in the active cell. Sheet tabs is the next component of the CALC application window. The sheet tabs are present at the bottom of the worksheet. These are named as sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 and so on. The active sheet tab indicates the current worksheet. By default, there are 3 worksheets in a workbook, but we can add more worksheets as per our requirement. Next comes status bar. This is located at the bottom of the CALC application window and it displays information about the current worksheet. Scroll bars. There are 2 scroll bars on the writer window. One is the horizontal scroll bar and one is the vertical scroll bar. The horizontal scroll bar helps to navigate left and right of the worksheet, and the vertical scroll bar helps to navigate the up and down of the worksheet. We can click the arrows on either side of the scroll bars to navigate through the worksheet. The next component of the CALC application window is docking toolbar. On the extreme right of the CALC window, there are 5 icons: properties, styles and formatting, gallery, navigator and functions. By clicking on any of these icons, the corresponding docking toolbar opens containing various buttons to format text, apply styles, insert pictures, navigate through the document, and uses various built-in functions provided by CALC respectively. This was all about the different components of the CALC application window. Now let us understand how do we create a new workbook. When we start the CALC, the application opens with a new workbook. However, if we want to open a new workbook when the CALC application is already running, for that you have to follow the steps. Firstly, you have to go to the file. From file, the menu appears on your screen. From there you can click on new, and after clicking on new, again a menu will appear. From that you have to select spreadsheet. The new workbook will be created and its name will appear on the title bar of the CALC window. There is also a shortcut to create a new workbook. When you are already in a running application, you can simply press Ctrl+N to open a new workbook in CALC. Now let us learn of how to save a workbook, because if you cannot save a workbook, your work would be of no use and you will not be able to refer to it in the future. For saving the workbook, you have to click on file again, then click on save as. The save as dialog box appears. Browse the folder where the file has to be saved. Type the name with which the file has to be saved in the file name text box, then click on save button. By default, the file created in OpenOffice CALC is saved with an extension .ods. After saving, the name of the file appears on the title bar of the CALC window. We can also save the document by clicking on save button on the standard toolbar. Please note that the save as dialog box appears only when we are saving the file for the first time. However, if the same file has to be saved with a different name or a different location or at a different location, then you have to select save as option again from the file menu. You can also press Ctrl+Shift+S to save the document for the first time and only Ctrl+S to save it otherwise. That was all about saving a workbook. Now, how do we open an existing workbook? The existing file can be opened by browsing to the folder which contains the file and then double clicking on it. However, if the application is running, you can follow the steps given to open the existing workbook. Firstly, click on file and then click on open. The open dialog box will appear. You have to browse the folder where the file to be opened exists. Then finally select the file and click on open button. This is going to open an existing workbook for you. Now how do we close a workbook? We can close a workbook without closing the CALC windows by selecting file and then going to close. However, if you want to exit from CALC application window itself, then you can simply click on the close button, that is a cross kind of button on the top right corner of the title bar, or simply click file and then exit. In either of the ways, if your document to be closed is not saved, then the writer will prompt you to save the document before closing, or else it is going to simply close the document you are working on. Now let us try to understand how do we enter the data in the workbook. The data is entered in the cells of a worksheet. The data that we enter may be in the form of text, numbers or formulas. Entries containing an alphabet or a character, even if they start with a number, are called text entries. Any text entry containing alphabets or non-numeric special characters such as ampersand, asterisk, percentage, etc. is called a label. For example, suppose you have a keyword, you have some name, grade maybe, or maximum marks, or any other combination such as S@G. So these are all called labels. Even numeric data in combination of alphabets and special characters like flat number 100, house number 20, anything, these can also form a label. These entries cannot be used in any type of calculations, so that's a constraint. Now, the data on which arithmetic calculations can be performed is known as numerical data or value. In addition to the numbers, characters like addition, subtraction, multiplication, or percentage, or dollar, or any currency, brackets, these can also be entered along with the numerical data. Now, I want you to see this screen. This represents to you the special characters in the numerical data. So, this represents the plus for positive number, minus for negative number, dot, period for a decimal number, brackets enclose data in brackets, percentage is used to represent percentage, dollar for any currency denotes the number as a currency, the exponential or small e or capital E denotes exponential for scientific notation of numbers. So, these are some of the special characters in numerical data. Now, text and numerical data. So, to enter labels or values, just click the cells in which the data has to be entered. The cell becomes active cell in which the data can be typed. Now, as you can see in the figure, the cell A2 contains the label marks and the cell A3 contains the value 67.89. As now you can see this particular cell A2, this is an intersection of row number 2 and column number A, and the cell contains marks. And another cell which is a combination of, which is an intersection of basically row number 3 and column number A contains marks. Now, entering formulas. How do we enter formulas? Formulas are an essential part of any spreadsheet application and they generally define a relationship between two or more cells. It is a combination of values, operators, cell addresses, etc. While entering a formula, we can either refer to individual cell or range of cells. They help in performing calculations and also in the what if analysis. The formula always starts with an equal sign, with an equal to sign. When we type the formula or click on the cell containing formula, we will see that the formula also appears in the formula bar. After entering the formula, if we try to edit it by clicking in the formula bar, the accept editing and cancel editing buttons on the left side of the formula bar becomes active. Also notice that the color of the cell reference and the color of the border of the cell is same. Now, how do we select a cell or a range of cells? In OpenOffice CALC, we may require to select a single cell or a range of cells. These cells or range of cells can be selected using either a keyboard or a mouse. The selected cells are shaded in blue color. To select a single cell, you can simply click on that cell. This currently selected cell is known as the active cell. To select the entire row or column, you can simply click on the row number or the column name, which is going to select the entire row or entire column for you. Suppose you want to select the entire column B, you can simply click on B, as you can also see on the screen. Now, to select adjacent range of cells, place the mouse pointer in the first cells in the range. Thereafter, click and drag the mouse pointer in the direction of selection till the last cell in the range is selected. For example, if the cell range A3 to B8 has to be selected, you can simply place the mouse pointer on the cell A3. Now click and drag the mouse till the cell B8. Now using a keyboard also we can do it. We can select the first cell, Thereafter, holding down the shift key and using the arrow keys in the direction of selection, move to the diagonally opposite corner of the cell. Once the last cell is in the range selected, then you can release the shift key. This way you can select a range of cells using a keyboard. How do we navigate through the worksheet now? To move or scroll through a worksheet, we can scroll in different ways. One can use mouse, scroll bar or arrow keys to move between cells and to different areas of the worksheet. To move between cells on a worksheet, you can simply click any cell or use the arrow keys. When you move to a cell, it becomes the active cell. Now, how do we scroll and zoom by using the mouse? Some mouse devices and other pointing devices such as the Microsoft IntelliMouse pointing device have built-in scrolling and zooming capabilities that you can use to move around and zoom in or out on your worksheet or chart sheet. You can also use the mouse to scroll in dialog boxes and have drop-down list with scroll bars. So this is how you can scroll and zoom by using the mouse. Now, data entry. How do we enter data? How do we enter various kinds of data in a cell? So we are going to discuss about data entry after a short break.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
विद्यालय का द्वार खुला सबकी बातें, शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर,
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात कोई मन जा में चुने हम अपना जीत स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने कोई मन चाहा में चुने
I welcome you back. Now, before going for the break, we were discussing about how we can scroll and zoom by using the mouse. So, I told you that some mouse devices and other pointing devices such as Microsoft IntelliMouse pointing device have built-in scrolling and zooming capabilities that you can use to move around and zoom in or out of your worksheet or the chart sheet. You can also use the mouse to scroll in dialog boxes that have drop down list with scroll bars. Now we are going to talk about data entry. You can enter various kinds of data in a cell, that is numbers, data, any kind of data you can enter in a cell. So numbers, your numbers can be from the entire range of numeric values, whole numbers example 25, decimals example 25.67 and scientific notations example 0.2567e plus 2. So your numbers can be from entire range of numeric values. Now data in series. You can fill a range of cells either with the same value or with a series of values with the help of the autofill feature of the spreadsheet. Now you can also enter text. First select the cell in which data has to be entered and type the text. Then press enter key to finish your text entry. The text will be displayed in the active cell as well as in the formula bar. If you have numbers to be treated as the text, use an apostrophe as the first character. You cannot do calculations with these kind of data entry because by specifying the apostrophe in the beginning, you specify that these numbers have to be treated as text. And if you do not use asterisk in the beginning, then you can perform numerical calculations on those data. For specifying that your number are to be simply treated as text, you have to use an apostrophe in the beginning. Now you can also enter date and time. When you enter dates and times, Excel converts these entries into serial numbers and the rest is kept as the background information. Now once you have entered the data in your spreadsheets, you might also require to edit your data. Editing your Excel worksheet data is very easy, that's not a tedious job. You can edit your data by using any of the ways. First is, you can select the cell containing the data to be edited, press F2, use backspace key and erase the wrong entry and then retype the correct entry. So that is how you can edit your data using the first way. Second is, select the cell, simply retype the correct entry. That's the simplest obviously. Then third step is, if you want only to clear the contents of the cell, you can simply select the cell and press delete key. So in this case, if you do not want to write anything else instead of the previous entry, you can simply click on the cell and then press the delete key. To bring back the previous entry, either click on undo button on the standard toolbar or select edit and then go to undo command or use keyboard shortcut Ctrl Z. So as you must be knowing, the keyboard shortcut for performing an undo operation is Ctrl plus Z. Now we will be talking about cell references. Each worksheet contains a number of columns and rows. Each cell of the worksheet has a unique reference. For example, A8 refers to the cell containing column number A and row number 8. So if I talk about C10, then C refers to the cell containing column number C and row number 10. Now, how do we find and replace data in a worksheet? You may want to locate a number or text that is already typed in the worksheet. This is done through Home tab. From Home, you can go to Find. You can also locate your data and replace with new data with Home tab, Find. From Home tab, you have to go to Find, and from Find, you can simply go to Replace. As you can also see on the screen, Find and Replace is highlighted with a circle. So this is all under the Home tab. Now, how do we insert blank cells on a worksheet? So you might be having a large set of data and you simply realize in between that you need to enter some more entries in between, like maybe after the fifth row, or maybe or you want to insert any of the columns in between, then that is also possible. So you have to select the cell or the range of cells where you want to insert the new blank cells. Select the same number of cells as you want to insert. For example, to insert 5 blank cells, you need to select 5 cells. Now on the Home tab in the Cells group, click the arrow next to Insert and then click Insert Cells. So if you have to insert row in a worksheet, सपोज आपके पास एक वर्कशीट है और आपको उसमें कोई रो इंसर्ट करना है, then to insert a single row you have to select the row or a cell in the row above which you want to insert the new row. For example, अगर आपको एक रो इंसर्ट करना है after row 5, then you can simply एक सेल पे क्लिक करिए in row 5 and then there would उसके बाद आपको सिर्फ इंसर्ट रो पे क्लिक करना है, उसके बाद रो नंबर 5 के बाद एक नया रो ऐड हो जाएगा. To insert multiple rows, you have to select the row above which you want to insert. जिसके बाद आपको multiple rows insert करने हैं, उस row को select करिए and then select the same number of rows you want to insert. अगर आपको 4 rows insert करने हैं तो आपको 4 rows को select करना पड़ेगा, और अगर आपको ऐसे 5 rows को insert करना है तो पहले आपको 5 rows select करना पड़ेगा, फिर उसमें आप right click तब करेंगे insert rows, तो 5 नए rows उसमें insert हो जाएंगे. To insert non-adjacent rows, you have to hold down Control while you select the non-adjacent rows. ऐसे ही जैसे हम rows ऐड करते हैं, we can also simply insert columns also in a worksheet. So अगर आपको एक single column ऐड करना है, then you have to select the column or the cell in the column immediately to the right. जहाँ पर भी आप चाहते हो एक नया column ऐड हो जाए, जिसके right side में आपको उस column को select करना है. For example, to insert a new column to the left of column B, then you have to click a cell in column B. अगर आपको multiple columns insert करने हैं, then you have to select the columns immediately to the right of where you want to insert columns. जैसे हमने रोज में मल्टीपल रोज को इंसर्ट करने के लिए मल्टीपल रोज को सिलेक्ट किया था, ऐसे ही हमें मल्टीपल कॉलम्स को इंसर्ट करने के लिए मल्टीपल कॉलम्स को सिलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आपको 3 नए कॉलम्स ऐड करने हैं तो आपको 3 कॉलम्स को सिलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, एंड दैट्स द वे वेयर योर कॉलम्स वुड बी इंसर्टेड. टू इंसर्ट नॉन एडजेसेंट कॉलम्स, अगेन आपको कंट्रोल बटन के साथ सिलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा नॉन एडजेसेंट कॉलम्स को. सो this is how you can insert rows and columns in the worksheet. अब हम ये देखेंगे कि हम सेल्स को, रोज को और कॉलम्स को कैसे डिलीट करें. सबसे पहले you have to select the cell, row और कॉलम that you want to delete. आप जिस भी पर्टिकुलर रो को या कॉलम को या सेल को डिलीट करना चाहते हैं, पहले आपको उसको सेलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा उस पर क्लिक करके. Now on the home tab in the cells group, you have to do any one of the following. पहली चीज, अगर आपको एक सेल को डिलीट करना है, then you have to click the arrow next to delete and then click delete cells. Now अगर आपको एक पूरी रो को डिलीट करना है तो आपको डिलीट के साइड में जो एरो होगा उसको सेलेक्ट करके उस पे डिलीट शीट रोज पे क्लिक करना पड़ेगा, और अगर आपको कॉलम को डिलीट करना है देन आप उस लिस्ट में से डिलीट शीट कॉलम्स को सेलेक्ट करेंगे. And if you are deleting a cell or a range of cell in the delete dialog box, then click shift cells left, click shift cells up, entire row or entire column. तो इस तरीके से आप अपनी जरूरत के अनुसार या तो सेल को या रो को या कॉलम को डिलीट कर सकते हैं या फिर एक सेल की रेंज को डिलीट कर सकते हैं. अब हम देखेंगे कि हम सेल्स को कॉपी या मूव कैसे कर सकते हैं. फर्स्टली सेलेक्ट द सेल्स दैट यू वांट टू मूव और कॉपी. फिर होम टैब पर जब जाएंगे तो आपको क्लिपबोर्ड पे अगर आपको मूव करना है तो आप सिंपली कट करोगे, और कट करने के लिए शॉर्टकट कमांड होता है कंट्रोल एंड एक्स. आपको कंट्रोल बटन को दबाते हुए एक्स पर भी दबाना है तो दैट विल कट द सेल्स. कॉपी करने के लिए आपको कंट्रोल और सी को साथ में दबाना पड़ेगा एंड देन सेलेक्ट द अपर लेफ्ट सेल ऑफ द पेस्ट एरिया. Now on the home tab in the clipboard group you have to press Ctrl V. अब आप जहां पर भी अपने डेटा को पेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, जहां पे भी आपने मूव करा है या जहां से भी आपने कॉपी करा है, तो जहां पर भी पेस्ट करना है वहां पे सिंपली आपको जाके कंट्रोल और वी बटन को साथ में दबाना है, which would result in pasting your data which you selected. So this is how you can move or copy the cells. Now that was using the keyboard. हम सेम चीज माउस को यूज कर भी कर सकते हैं. सबसे पहले आपको सेल्स को या फिर रेंज ऑफ सेल्स जो आप कॉपी या मूव करना चाहते हैं उसको सेलेक्ट करना है. उसके बाद अगर आप चाहते हो टू मूव अ सेल, इफ यू वांट टू मूव अ सेल और रेंज ऑफ सेल्स, तो आपको उसके जो बॉर्डर होगा सिलेक्शन का उस पर पॉइंट करना है, और जब वो पॉइंटर एक मूव पॉइंटर बन जाता है तो आपको उसको ड्रैग करना है अनदर लोकेशन पे. मतलब एक मूव जब आप बॉर्डर की सिलेक्शन की बॉर्डर पे अपना माउस को लेके जाओगे तो वो थोड़े टाइम में एक सिलेक्शन मूव पॉइंटर बन जाता है, प्लस की तरह दिखता है. तो आपको उसको सिंपली लेफ्ट क्लिक करके ड्रैग करके जहां पर भी आप पेस्ट करना चाहते हो वहां पर ड्रॉप करना है. ड्रैग करने के बाद वो सिंपली मूव कर देगा. और कॉपी करने के लिए पहले तो आप सिलेक्ट करेंगे, देन होल्ड डाउन कंट्रोल while you point to the border of the selection. जब ये कॉपी पॉइंटर बन जाएगा तो आप उसको ड्रैग कर सकते हो जहां पर भी आपको उसको पेस्ट करना है. So that is how you can move or copy the entire cell. Now, how do we prevent the copied blank cells from replacing the data? Firstly, select the range of cell that contains the blank cells. अब होम टैब पे अब दोबारा से क्लिपबोर्ड ग्रुप में से हम कॉपी सेलेक्ट करेंगे. देन यू हैव टू सेलेक्ट द अपर लेफ्ट सेल ऑफ द पेस्ट एरिया. फिर होम टैब पर जाकर क्लिपबोर्ड ग्रुप में यू हैव टू क्लिक द एरो बिलो पेस्ट एंड देन क्लिक पेस्ट स्पेशल. सो दिस इज यूज्ड व्हेन you have to prevent the copied blank cells from replacing the data. And you can then select the skip blanks checkbox. When you go to paste special, you can simply click on skip blanks checkbox. Now, how do we move or copy the contents of a cell? Double click the cell that contains the data that you want to move or copy. उसमें से आपको कैरेक्टर्स को सिलेक्ट करना है जो कि आपको मूव करने हैं या कॉपी करने हैं. फिर होम टैब पे जाके अगर सिलेक्शन को मूव करना है तो आप कट पे क्लिक करेंगे, और अगर सिलेक्शन को कॉपी करना है तो आप कॉपी पे क्लिक करेंगे. इससे आप कंटेंट्स को मूव और कॉपी कर सकते हैं. इन द सेल, click where you want to paste the characters or the double click another cell to move copy the data. On the home tab in the clipboard, click paste and then simply press enter. Now we are going to talk about freeze panes. Okay, so as I told you, spreadsheet is a large sheet, so it can have numerous data. Suppose your first row represent the serial number, first column represent the headings, and then when you keep on entering the data, जब आप उसमें बहुत नीचे आ जाएंगे तो आपको दिखेगा कि हेडिंग तो मिस ही हो गई है। मतलब आप सोचो अगर आप एंट्री कर रहे हो और आप उसमें हेडिंग ही नहीं देख पा रहे हो कि इस पर्टिकुलर रो में, इस पर्टिकुलर कॉलम में है क्या, तो ऐसे काम को करने के लिए हम फ्रीज पेन्स यूज करते हैं। उसमें आपको क्या करना है, जो आपकी हेडिंग होगी फर्स्ट कॉलम के अंदर, आप उसको वहीं पर फ्रीज कर देंगे। फिर आप जब भी नीचे मूव करोगे तो आपका उसके नीचे वाला डेटा ऊपर ऊपर मूव करता जाएगा, पर जो फर्स्ट कॉलम में आपकी हेडिंग्स हैं वो एज इट इज वहां पर फ्रीज हो जाएंगी। इससे क्या होगा कि आपकी हेडिंग्स मिस नहीं होंगी, और जब भी आप नीचे कोई एंट्री ढूंढ रहे हो, मैच कर रहे हो या एंटर कर रहे हो, तो आपको उसमें हेल्प मिलेगी कि मैच करने में आपको दोबारा वापस से ऊपर स्क्रॉल करना नहीं पड़ेगा कि इसकी मेरी हेडिंग क्या थी या इसमें मैं एंटर क्या कर रही हूँ। इसके लिए you have to click the label of the row below the row that should remain frozen at the top of the worksheet. Firstly, select View tab, go to Window Group on ribbon, then Freeze Panes, and then there you have to click on Freeze Panes. Now to remove these freeze panes, you have to again go to View tab, go to Windows Group on ribbon, again Freeze Panes. From there, now this time you have to go to Unfreeze Panes when you have to unfreeze your columns. Now, how do we file open, save and close? You can open an existing file by several methods. Go to Windows Explorer and find out the file you want to open. You can double click on the file. Start MS Excel, click on Office button, on the drop down menu click open, select the file you want to open from the pop-up menu. When you have finished your work on the file, you can save it by either clicking on the file save icon at the top left corner or click on the Office button. Click on the save at the drop down menu. Now when you are saving the worksheet for the first time, तो you have to जब आप पहली बार शीट को सेव करते हैं तो आपको सेव एज बटन का यूज करना है, और जब आप काम करते करते और आपने उसको पहले से एक नाम दिया हुआ है और सेव कर रखा है तो आप सिंपली सेव करके उसको सेव कर सकते हैं। लेकिन अगर आपको उस फाइल का नाम चेंज करना है या फिर लोकेशन चेंज करनी है तो आपको फिर से सेव एज पर ही जाना पड़ेगा। पर जब आपने जैसे एक बार सेव करने के बाद दोबारा कुछ चेंजेस करे और सिंपली सेव करना है तो सिर्फ सेव बटन पे क्लिक करने से भी हो जाएगा। Now, next very beneficial feature of spreadsheet is making charts. A chart is a form of pictorial representation of data. It is easier to explain a concept or to analyze and compare data using charts. The relationship between sets of data can also be easily understood using charts. Now, there are various kinds of charts which are given to us by OpenOffice. हम उनको एक एक कर कर डिस्कस करेंगे। पहला है बार चार्ट। अब जैसा कि आप देख सकते हैं, अब बार चार्ट जो है वो जब हमारे डेटा को लॉन्ग बार्स में हॉरिजॉन्टली या वर्टिकली रिप्रेजेंट करने में काम आता है। एंड द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ बार चार्ट इज ये कंपैरिजन करने में बहुत यूजफुल है। इट डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कंपैरिजन यूजिंग इंडिविजुअल आइटम्स। नेक्स्ट इज कॉलम चार्ट। नाउ कॉलम चार्ट जब हमें वर्टिकली रिप्रेजेंट करना है डेटा को तब हम यूज करते हैं। इसका भी एप्लीकेशन ये है कि ये कंपेयर करने में काफी यूजफुल है। नेक्स्ट इज अ लाइन चार्ट। अब एक लाइन चार्ट क्या होता है? लाइन चार्ट इज अ सीरीज ऑफ डेटा पॉइंट्स, और वो जो डेटा पॉइंट्स होते हैं दे आर कनेक्टेड टुगेदर विद द लाइन। अब इसका एप्लीकेशन ये है कि जब हमें डेटा ट्रेंड्स रिप्रेजेंट करने हैं किसी रेगुलर इंटरवल पे तो लाइन चार्ट्स आर वेरी यूजफुल। नेक्स्ट इज अ एरिया चार्ट। अब एरिया चार्ट क्या होता है? इट इज बेस्ड ऑन अ लाइन चार्ट बट द एरिया बिटवीन द एक्सेस एंड द लाइंस इज फिल्ड विद डिफरेंट कलर्स। इसका एप्लीकेशन इज दैट इट इज यूज्ड टू हाईलाइट द चेंज ओवर टाइम और टू डिस्प्ले क्वांटिटेटिव डेटा ग्राफिकली। Next very important chart provided to us by spreadsheet is pie chart. Pie chart displays the data in form of circle divided into sectors जिसके जो size होते हैं they are very proportional to the value which it is representing. Application of pie chart is it is used to demonstrate the proportional size with respect to the sum of all items. So these were the different charts which are given to us by spreadsheets. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Thank you so much.
के प्रकाशित करने